Well, yeah, the week, I guess, 2 weeks ago? A week and a half ago? Yeah, a week and a half ago now, I bought that Switch, and dude, I don't think I've touched a PC game since I've played a little bit of Xenoblade. But I've been playing the shit out of my Switch.
Man, I came very close to doing that, to picking one up, man. If I wasn't on such an Eve kick, I'd probably be doing that.
Yeah.
Because I love the fact that you can do that little subscription and have access to all those top quality ROMs legally.
Dude, yeah. So yeah, I guess this is a good starting place for the Poor Bastards Almanac episode 51.
Jumping right into it here.
Dude, man, our last episode was forever ago. We tried to record 51 and I had so many technical difficulties, and then we finally got it to start working, and somehow I didn't hit record. I don't know. That was a fucked up day. I was so pissed at myself.
I forgot all about that.
So yeah, I bought a Switch. The girlfriend got a Switch Lite actually, because she didn't really need to plug hers in anywhere. But it's just, it's got a base station. The controllers come off the side of it. It looks like a little tablet or like a very large phone, kind of, except it's always horizontal. I don't think anything's vertical on it. The controllers are pretty sweet, even like just the Joy-Cons that it comes with. I don't see the need for a Pro controller. It's got USB. The base station has USB. I got a GameCube adapter for it, so I can plug my GameCube controllers into it, and they work perfectly. I wonder if I could plug my Steam controller into it and use that. That would be freaking cool.
Is it backwards compatible with Wii U titles?
No. It takes little game cards about the size of like an SD card.
Huh. How about that?
Yeah, they're a little bit thicker and maybe a little bit taller than like an SD card. And the contacts on the back are way different. But other than that, yeah, the games are these tiny little cards. Kind of like I don't know. I can't speak to like a PSP or something. God, I've told you so much about it. It's hard to, I guess, sorry, I'm probably going to repeat everything I've already said. The eShop is slam full of titles. I can't believe how many games have been ported to this. There are some Wii U ports to it. Like Mario Brothers, the Super Mario Brothers Wii U edition or something like that, that's been ported to it. A handful of other games, I guess, but it's got a lot of indie titles. Stardew Valley, Terraria, Minecraft is on here. I think you can play Minecraft in split screen.
Ooh.
Yep. I've been playing the absolute dog shit out of Graveyard Keeper. I've played...
Now that looks fun.
It is. It's a lot of fun.
I love the sprite work, man. I just want to be able to create something with that tile set, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how big the team was that made it, but they've done a really good job. Oh, will it not tell me how many hours I have in it? Maybe it'll tell me on the app. So there's like a parental controls app for it. Continue details page for this software. I don't know if that's going to take me to my personal details or not. It sure isn't. Yeah, oh well. But yeah, I've got several hours in Graveyard Keeper now. That's strange. The parental controls are kind of cool though. You can lock out like different games just from an app on your phone. Like you can set it to an ESRB rating basically, and it'll only let those games launch without your PIN. So I can hand it to my kid and be like, yeah, here, play a game. And if she tries to play Graveyard Keeper, it won't let her. But if she tries to play like a coloring book game, there's a really cool, coloring game on here. It comes with all these just blank, just outlined coloring book pages, basically. It's a coloring book game. That's self-explanatory.
Man, that's pretty cool that, well, I mean, Nintendo knows who their audience is. It's pretty nice that they do things like that.
Yeah.
That's why they're still around, by the way, if you ask me.
They've done a much better job of catering to core gamers recently. Well, I say recently, they kind of always have. I think allowing, and I'm coming off the Wii. I have no idea what the Wii U or the Wii U eShop, any of that really looks like. But I know the Wii eShop was like a desert, basically. The 3DS eShop, okay, yeah, a little bit more recent, isn't all that great either. Now, the eShop on here is not perfect, because there's so many titles. It is hard to find. I mean, there's just so many to dig through. It doesn't have a very good filtering method, I suppose. But there's a website called psprices.com, which is basically istthereanydeal.com, but for console games.
Oh, you posted that the other day. Okay.
Yeah. It shows all the deals that are going on, like physical deals, like from Best Buy, Walmart, Amazon, the eShop deals, at least as far as the Switch goes, and the 3DS. I haven't checked any of the other consoles because I don't have any other ones. But it's sweet. I mean, you can look and see what the price history is, what the current cut is, how long the sale lasts, all that stuff.
If you're going to do console gaming, do it smart.
Yep. Yeah, because there's deals to be had. It's pretty cool. There's a lot of games that are on my Steam wish list that I'm seeing on here that I'm like, I always get overwhelmed by my Steam library. But not only that, I mean, sometimes it's just easier to game on the go. Like if I catch a break at work, or, anytime, I got to go take a shit. And I could just, you're sitting there playing the Switch, you just pull it out of the dock and it goes from the TV to the screen built into the Switch, and you're still playing the same game without barely a pause. It charges on USB-C. I don't know. Most people who would listen to this are probably already aware of this. It's a 3-year-old console at this point. I kind of just realized that the other day. I was like, damn, I'm a little bit late to this game.
That is wild. So there's no break in between sitting on your couch and then picking it up and walking into the other room with it. There's no, please turn your Switch off before you swap to.
Not at all.
That's cool.
Yep, and the same for the reverse. You just plug it in and there it goes. I mean, you'll probably want to pause the game because you are going to have a bit of a break there and using your controllers, but you don't have to. But Graveyard Keeper, Graveyard Keeper is fucking sweet. It's a lot like Stardew Valley, but there's 6 days of the week. And nothing is really time sensitive so far, at least. I don't expect anything will be. Yeah. Because there aren't seasons. There is farming, but there aren't seasonal crops. There are different levels of quality for some crops, not all of them. Which make better quality foods and stuff like that, because there is cooking. There's a shit ton of cooking and crafting. And there's a lot of there's a massive skill tree. And there's different areas of the world that are designated for different tasks. Like, obviously, the graveyard is where you bury bodies. But then there's a morgue, which that's where bodies get delivered to. There's a donkey. You have to feed him carrots. In the beginning of the game, he just brings you bodies. But then eventually you have to give him carrots to get bodies. And there's a plus side to that in that sometimes you don't want any new bodies because you kind of get overwhelmed. But as long as you keep feeding him carrots, he'll keep bringing them, and you can pull resources out of bodies as you level up your mortuary skills or whatever it is. Your I don't know, I forget what they call it. You can pull more pieces out of bodies. Like at first, you can do just flesh. But then you can upgrade to like skin and bones and blood. And then you can upgrade to like brains, intestine, heart. And each of these things has some sort of use. You can cook the meat and eat it. You can sell it to the local tavern. The rest of the body parts are like alchemical reagents, which I'm kind of just now getting into. I also just unlocked a dungeon to go crawling through. I haven't even walked in the door yet.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's all sorts of NPCs. Most of these important NPCs, if not all of them, most of the important ones, definitely not all of them, but most of the important ones only show up on one day of the week. So if you need to see like the old man outside the lighthouse, you got to wait until the Monday, basically. So that can get, I don't know. See, this is so strange about it because the Steam reviews were always really, really positive. And the Metacritic reviews are like in the 60s, I think. And everybody's like, this game's tedious. Just go play Stardew Valley. Everything's too tedious. Wah, boo-hoo. And it is. There's a fair amount of tedium to the game, but I don't find that to be
off-putting.
Yeah, not at all. If anything, it makes the actions feel more rewarding. And there's a ton to do.
Tell me it's got some good humor in
it. Yeah. There's like a bouncing skull. That's the first thing that you start talking to is just a skull. And he's pretty quirky and funny. He's an alcoholic skull. He's constantly asking for like beer and then wine, and then he sends you on a mission for some cognac.
It's bug.
I'm enjoying the shit out of it. It does kind of scratch that Stardew itch. I'm playing a little bit of Stardew too. The girlfriend picked up Stardew. She won't stop playing Stardew. She's played as much Stardew as I've played of Graveyard Keeper. And then
Stardew's good stuff, man.
Yeah,
is it cross-platform?
I doubt it. No, because this connects through your Nintendo account. You have to have a Nintendo subscription to play online. You can always play local Wi-Fi. But yeah, to connect through Nintendo servers, you need that $20 a month subscription. Or for a family account, up to 8 accounts is $35. So we got that family account, which saves us a few bucks just for the two of us, but I can include my kid on that account too. You can create child accounts for kids under like 12 or 13 or whatever, which like just severely limits what they can do. But you can still like monitor their activity on your device or on their own device. You can see how long they've been playing games and what games they've been playing in that parental controls app. You can see what they've been playing. It's pretty neat.
Dude, that is freaking tight. Gonna be starting a family soon, It's nice to know these things.
Yeah. Old Animal Crossing comes out on the 20th. That's the reason we bought a Switch, honestly, is because we're so excited. As a family, we've been playing a lot of Animal Crossing, all three of us. And with the new one coming out, we were like, we've got to play it. We've got to. And I'm glad we picked up Switches. I've I've been on the fence about one for a while. Same with VR. I really wanted a Valve Index, but this shortage of equipment has turned me off to it. I'm sad that I won't be playing Half-Life Alyx when it releases. I don't know. I think I had the conversation with a week ago or so. I was like, is it worth spending $1,800 just to play one game? I'd play more than that, but that's the catalyst,
Yeah, that's a commitment right there. At least you'll be, if you don't do it now, at least you'll be able to know in a short period of time whether or not it was foolish for people that did that.
Yeah.
Whether or not that decision was foolish. And then, I guess at that point, then you'd have to weigh, whether or not it bothers you that you didn't make the jump at that time.
Yeah, and the hardware is going to keep getting better too. So there's always a benefit to being patient.
Yeah, you're one of those patient gamers, bro.
Yeah. I've certainly become a patient gamer. That's for sure. I'm still hacking away at Xenoblade Chronicles on my Wii. Even since I picked up the Switch, I've been making an effort to play it.
That looks like a really good game. I might try to find that on the internet and get the disc.
Dude, yeah. It's definitely worth it.
Is a nunchuck required?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you don't have one. Come into town and get one of my nunchucks.
I don't know what the hell happened to ours. But yeah, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that, dude. Yeah, I'll let you know what's up. We got to get together anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
I haven't really done much on the Nintendo side on that side of things. Well, I did actually get a ROM, BS Legend of Zelda in Ancient Stone tablets.
Yeah, the old satellite vision game or whatever they called it.
It was weird. Yeah. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I played it until I died, which was shortly after the first dungeon, but I'm gonna keep playing that. That was pretty cool. At the bottom of the screen, there's a constant scrolling conversation that's happening that is topical, depending on what you're doing. And I'd imagine it's following what you're supposed to be doing. Because on the satellite deal, you only had the game for a short period of time. So you kind of wanted something to, in general, herd you in the right direction so you can enjoy what's meant to be the game, and I think it's really cool. It's a small, they've dedicated a small section at the bottom of the screen, and it's across the entire bottom of the screen. It's like a text box of a couple of characters, and it's kind of narrating what you're supposed to be doing. And anyhow, it's pretty neat. It's pretty neat. I like it. I didn't really know what to expect. I forgot that we had talked about it. You had read something on exactly what it was not too long ago, and then SNES Drunk did a video on it as well. And I can't remember when I watched that, but it's been quite some time. But it was fun checking that out, man. I would definitely recommend it. If you don't feel like getting your lights pounded out by Parallel Worlds, but you don't feel like playing A Link to the Past for the 1,000th time, definitely check that out.
I don't know. It's about time to play Link to the Past for the 1,000th time. I've been itching to boot it up for real.
I love that game, man.
Yeah.
That game is like reciting an old nursery rhyme, playing that and beating it, man.
Yeah. I really want to get Breath of the Wild on my Switch.
I know.
I got so far in it on a Wii U emulator. I beat all 4 dungeons. And I never went to Hyrule. I think I can still boot the game and play it, but not on Windows
forgot.
anymore.
You beat the PP out of that.
Yeah.
I looked up CMU again, and I don't know where to go to cop a legit version of that, and I need to be careful.
Yeah.
I need to be careful doing something like that. And doing something like that, wanting to play Breath of the Wild again, pursuing something like that is what's going to get my nuts cut. So, I don't know, man.
It runs on Wine pretty well.
CMU?
Yeah. There's no... I was playing on my Steam controller, and I had another background software that would pick up my motion controls for my Steam controller. So when I'd whip out my bow, I could aim with my controller. That was fucking sweet. Now the Switch does have, of course, built-in motion controls. So if I get it on my Switch, that functionality does return. And for archery on horseback, I mean, you can't do that with a joystick. The lowest the game's ever been has been $42, and it came out March 2nd, 2017. Yeah.
It's time to bring that price down.
I know. But being a first-party Nintendo title, they can charge whatever the fuck they want to for it.
Yeah. Man, I never finished Skyward Sword. I still got to play freaking Twilight Princess.
Oh yeah.
I've still got to finish up Wind Waker. I've beaten Wind Waker over halfway through, at least 3 or 4 times. The only Zelda games that I've really beaten are Super Nintendo through the 64 era. Outside of that, no, I don't think I've played most of them, but I've never beaten any of
them. I didn't care a lot for Twilight Princess. I'm wondering what I missed, because everybody loves that game. I mean, I beat it in a week. I hammered the shit out of it. It's not that I didn't enjoy it, but I wouldn't put it near the top Zeldas. I think I've played about every Zelda except for that satellite one. I haven't played the Oracles, but I played the DS ones.
Oh, the Oracles, man.
Yeah, Oracle of Ages and Seasons. I have not played those.
I think I've played Ages. I don't know if it's really cool that it doesn't matter which one you start with, that it'll still interact with the other one whenever you go to play the second one.
Yeah. Yeah, one of them is time-based. Seasons?
Ages is time-based.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And is Seasons just seasonal?
Yeah, there's little stumps that you can jump on, and I think there's 4 different. Obviously, there's 4 different seasons, but there's 4 different objects I think you've got to get enabled to be able to change each season to the one that you want it to be, or something like that. Or maybe the seasons change and are out of whack in a certain area until you beat that dungeon. I can't quite remember. It was a real long time ago. It was, it was the actual cartridge. I'm 99% sure it was the actual cartridge that I was playing on.
And those were developed by Capcom?
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty wild.
That is. I forgot about that. Pretty neat.
So yeah, after Xenoblade Chronicles, I might pick up Xenoblade 2, which is on the Switch. I might. I don't know if I could do 200-hour JRPGs back to back. Ouch.
I mean, I think about that, and then I think about like how much I've played Eve on Linux so far, and it's almost been about 200 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, some of that is dead time, where it's just background, just station time, Sometimes on the weekend, I will have it up all freaking afternoon. I won't be doing much, but it'll be up. I'll be watching cartoons, checking the news and shit. But I created an alt, a mining alt. Started dicking around, doing an honest living there. Not too bad, but I've got my wormhole and shit tight. I'm flying a Tengu now. It's a Tech 3 strategic cruiser. Finally got some heavy assault missiles.
How do you make money? Like, how do you afford new ships and stuff? You personally?
Me personally?
Yeah.
Dude, I sell Plex. I buy about $20 worth of Plex and I just fucking sell it.
Huh.
I don't make a habit out of that, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Microtransactions or like spending money, it's funny, spending money in a video game has gotten such a bad rap. But, I played a whole lot of League of Legends several years ago, and eventually we played so much of it, I mean, we'd started dropping money in the game to buy skins and stuff for each other because, you're playing the shit out of this game. You're getting your money's worth. It's support your developers.
Yeah, I mean, I've got picked up a couple of hero skins,
Just watch out, old Republican Senator Josh Hawley. Microtransactions should be illegal.
It's one thing if, you're sitting over there saying, man, fucking microtransactions suck. And you can make a Gmail account with that as the name. Start a YouTube channel. But come on, dude. Don't draft legislation. That's fucking fascism.
Yeah. It's a bit ridiculous. KIA, Kotaku in Action, seems to have really died in the past.
I thought they did. Yeah, I thought they stepped in it huge recently and made absolute fools out of themselves in some regard. And I thought that there's been slow layoffs that they've just died the death of 1,000 cuts, man.
Yeah. I mean, their purpose has...
Oh, Kotaku in Action, not Kotaku the outlet.
Yeah, no. Kotaku in Action.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Kotaku the outlet.
Nah, Kotaku in Action, those guys were all behind this legislation to ban gambling in video games, basically.
Dude, the best part of Red Dead Redemption 2 is being able to sit down at a game of freaking Texas Hold'em. And when you lose, you get to lay the whole table out and ride away on your horse into the night.
Well, they mean specifically like money, like loot boxes, I guess. Loot boxes should be considered gambling because you spend money on it and you don't know what you're getting. And
don't tell those people about PlanetSide 2 implants.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody that knows what that is crying inside. They're laughing on the outside. They're crying on the inside.
Yeah, it just seems silly to get the government involved. Gambling's an addiction. I mean, I guess, but making it illegal just probably just makes it dangerous in some way. You feeling the burn?
I tell you what, a little mining ship was feeling the burn. I freaking railgunned that little bastard. He was huffing some gas out in wormhole space, and I was flying a rail goo. Basically, I had medium rail guns. I had no tackle. I had 3 sensor boosters in my mids to help me lock real quick. And anyhow, dude, I just got within range, and it took me a minute to make my way around the gas cloud because I was on the other side of the freaking cloud from him. It took me so long to get to him. I mean, he was a juicy little sucker by the time I got to him. That's why he was so plump, because it took me like seriously 2.5 minutes to slow boat my way all the way over there to get within range. I don't think he was paying attention, dude. I combat probed him down. I don't know if maybe I told you this in the other episode. I don't know. I couldn't believe he let me combat probe him down. And I can't believe he let me decloak and lock him up and just zap him like that.
Do you think he was AFK?
No. Well, I mean, maybe. He was moving around. I don't know if he had like the gas cloud locked and was orbiting at a certain distance, but I don't think anybody that had their head out of their ass would have allowed me to do that to him.
Because you there was another guy you tried to lock on to, and immediately he zipped out of there.
Yeah, that's right. You saw that. Yeah, he boogied. Well, I'm rolling with a different fit in my Tengu. I've got those heavy assault missiles now. So I've got a stasis web of fire and a warp scrambler on now. So I just got to get in real close. And I'll just overheat those jokers. So as long as I keep him at like 10 kilometers, he's not going to go anywhere. And I'm just going to hammer his butt with missiles until he dies. And with this fit, I've got 3 large shield extenders. So for the nerds out there, let's see, that is 38,186 effective hit points. But with the adaptive invulnerability field 2 activated, that is 49,000. It's 49.75. So that's about 50,000 EHP. 53 if I overheat that adaptive invulnerability field. So basically, poor bastard 1, effective hit points take into consideration your damage resists. Because there's 4 different types of damage. And so you might have, I've got 14,000 hit points in my shields, 3,000 in my armor, and 2,700 in my hull. But I have some good resist bonuses in my shields. So it takes a little bit more to reduce my shields by 1. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, what happened on March 2nd, 2020?
Fucking March 2nd?
Yep.
That was Super Tuesday, my man.
Okay. That was the day that Joe Biden went from second place to to the top.
Oh, yeah. Bernie got a shit taken on him.
Yeah. Real Clear Politics is showing Bernie took the lead beginning of February, and he held it through all of February. He had an 11-point, 12-point lead. And then Super Tuesday, bam, Biden's up. Biden's up 18 points. Just like that.
Well, old Byrne did better in a caucus setting. He had New Hampshire at the beginning. South Carolina was really, that was just the bellwether to see if the South was still was going to vote for Biden, and obviously South Carolina voted for Biden, and then here we are at Super Tuesday too, and good Lord, what was it, Mississippi, where Bernie did not get the requisite 15%. So he did not get any delegates. Biden swept and got 30 unanswered delegates.
Yep.
What happened with Washington? Do you know if either of those guys were declared the winner, or was it just split 27-27?
Let's see. Delegate count. Washington split 17-17. It's still open. Yeah, it's showing him still open, but it's split right down the middle. But yeah, they're showing Biden's way ahead. 861 to 710 delegates.
He's staying in, dude.
That post from earlier. I gave my student loan refund to Sanders.
What a fool. I can only think that had to be somebody joking. Surely someone was joking.
Everybody's bitching that, the youth aren't getting out and voting for Sanders. That's the problem. I don't know if that's true.
Hell, I think that the youth are the only ones that are voting for him.
I mean, yeah. Everybody else realizes that they have to make an income for a living. They need to work for a living.
Yeah, and Chris Matthews, he was fired for saying how it was to Bernie Sanders. He was shitting all over Bernie Sanders, dude. And he was right, though. Anybody their age that remembered the Cold War is not taken in by this socialism horseshit.
Yeah.
They're not, even if they're a Democrat. Because they're not silly. They know. Chris Matthews knows how his bread got buttered,
Oh my God. Bill Maher goes full sexist. Yeah. Democrats can't even agree with each other.
A cancel culture is going to come for everybody, see? Because what cancel culture deems as cancel worthy is going to shift. And dadgum, if Chris Matthews isn't off the air, it's only a matter of time before the rest of them take a hike too.
What's the difference between a caucus and a primary?
As I understand it, a caucus is much more fragmented than a primary. So instead of going to a polling place, there's a caucus manager. And anyhow, you kind of get together and stand in a certain part of the room for who you're voting for. And other people for other candidates come over and try to, kind of talk you into their camp and stuff like that. It's more of a, like it's there's discussion to be had and stuff like that. It's taken seriously, and And the DNC, of course, they want to get rid of that crap because they can't fiddle fuck around in that nearly as easily as they can in just straight up ballot box primaries.
Yeah, true.
But all that being said, this caucus app crap, I have no idea how that.
Oh, that
that
app,
was
right. So Buttigieg did win Iowa. It says it's semi-open, but Buttigieg is 14 to Sanders 12. That was the one they fucked up because Biden scored so low in it. They didn't want to admit the results. God, I don't think we got to speak at all. Yeah, we hadn't recorded since February 3rd. Yeah, all those debates and shit, man. It was which one of us is going to beat Trump? You're not going to beat Trump. I can beat Trump. You can't beat Trump. I'm going to beat Trump. Yeah, well, you're sexist. Yeah, well, I'm going to beat Trump. Oof.
Now every last one of them is down to two old white men. Every last one of those voices that you just heard today, right there, ladies and gentlemen, are now saying, vote for Biden, vote for Biden, vote for Biden, vote for Biden. None of them are endorsing Sanders.
Yep.
None of them. Has Elizabeth Warren endorsed anyone yet?
I thought it was Biden.
Let's see.
I guess not.
See, there's bad blood between her and Byrne because she tried to pull the sexist card on him, but her platform is close to his, right? Because she vampirized a lot of his platform. And anyhow, man, so you really think everybody is saying vote for Joe Biden? Julian Castro said vote for Elizabeth Warren. That didn't do much. But if she endorses Biden, that is going to be the ultimate stab in the back to Bernie. I'm telling you, those Bernie bro commies are going to burn down Milwaukee. They're going to burn that motherfucker down. I mean, Project Veritas already has those people on camera saying they're ready to break bricks, son.
The Green New Deal. God, what a... The New Deal, the original New Deal, is what brought us Social Security, right? I'm pretty sure.
I'm not sure, but I'll tell you, that sure has had the shit mismanaged out of it.
Yep, that was a New Deal. Social Security Act of 1935, yep. I think the New Deal has turned out to be a long-term failure. There's a lot of people who say that even in the short term, it was not... I mean, it didn't do much. That we were going to come out of that, we were coming out of the Great Depression regardless. I mean, obviously. I guess that's obvious. I don't know if this is really podcast material, but maybe. I think I accidentally offended our mutual friend. He was over here the other day, and I brought up, so my kid's about to start public school, and the flyer for registration is English on one side and Spanish on the back side. And when I got it, I asked a family member who is a teacher, I said, why is this in Spanish? Are there that many people that just can't speak English at all going to public school? And they said, yeah, some of these schools, I mean, it's a significant amount of the population can't speak English at all. And I was like, Really? That sounds like an absolute nightmare. And I was on acid at the time, so describing this to our mutual friend, I think he's pretty sympathetic to the Mexican population or whatever the fuck is you're supposed to call them, Central American, South American population, whatever. I don't know. And maybe it was just because I was on acid. Maybe he wasn't actually offended, and it was just my reading of the situation was kind of fucked up. But I guess his point before he left was that, like, well, I know somebody, and you know, the little Mexican boy was outperforming everyone else in the class in like English or whatever. And that certainly wasn't my point. That's the opposite of my point. Obviously, that kid knew the hell out of English. My point is all of these kids that can't read or speak English at all, like that sounds like a logistical nightmare. Like trying to teach a class of students who half of them don't understand you at all. How would you even begin to try and teach them anything at all if they don't know what you're saying?
I think it's called English as a Second Language, ESOL. And there is funding that is provided for those students in the state, as a matter of fact. Yeah.
Well, the way it was explained to me by my family member was that there isn't enough staff that is bilingual to...
I believe that.
Yeah, I mean, like... And I mean, even still, like, do you teach half of your class in English and the other half in Spanish? I mean, everyone in the class is getting only half of an education at that point, kind of. I mean, it balances a little bit different than that, but it seems a little crazy that we're so welcoming and sympathetic to people who can't speak our language, and we seem to provide them with a lot of welfare programs, apparently even up to the point of they're eligible for disability if they don't speak any English. And that may be completely wrong, but I'm pretty sure I heard that like from an official source. Disability for non-English speakers. Can I receive disability benefits if I cannot speak English? If you are unable to speak, read, write, or communicate in English, you may be less able to perform certain types of jobs. Your RFC, residual functional capacity, may determine that your disability makes it so you can only perform sedentary work, such as an office setting or customer service job. SSA will approve you for disability benefits based on your inability to speak English. If you are 45 years or older, they will not take your education level into an account, such as your inability to speak English counteracts your level of education. Your age is taken into account because it may be more difficult for an older person to quickly learn a completely new language to the point where they're able to successfully find a new job while also dealing with other effects of their original medical disability. Huh. Okay. It's just very strange. I maybe this is just complete ignorance, but I would expect some standard of language just for us all to be able to communicate with one another.
I mean, I just think of it in the reverse. If I was plopped down in the middle of, you know, a homogenous European society that speaks a totally different language that, you know, you can't BS your way through if you know something like Spanish, you know. I mean, French is French, but I mean, if you're reading it, you can kind of pick up on certain things if you know Spanish. And vice versa, from what I'm told. But I'd be boned with a capital F, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah. I don't mean that this is like super detrimental just for my own child. It seems kind of like a lose-lose for everybody. It sounds like we're spreading resources that are already spread thin. We're spreading them thinner. Okay, it's important to note that being unable to communicate in English is not a disability in itself. It is only a factor that may increase your odds of approval for disability benefits if you are disabled and unable to work due to certain medical condition. That's according to disability-benefits-help.org. Yeah, I certainly don't mean anything offensive by it. Bilingual children are supposedly have a higher IQ than other children. It just seems like a barrier to for everyone, teachers included, who already kind of have the shit end of the stick. From what I understand, they're already dealing with parents who just don't give a shit about their kids, and that seems to not be any sort of cultural phenomenon, but kind of across the board, just from every teacher I've spoken to recently. It's still anecdotal, but
And there's not a tax base large enough that's going to fix that problem.
oh no, not at all. Yeah, I guess back in the day, there was a societal standard of, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm speaking out of my ass there. But overall, I guess societal values, especially when it comes to children, have diminished greatly in the past century. And maybe not. Maybe not. I guess before, maybe it was normal to leave your kids in dumpsters and on firehouse steps and send them to the factories. So maybe it's not any better and then it's not any worse. There's just more of them. I don't know. I'm anxious about sending my kid to public school.
Shit, I would be.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I see it as like a necessary evil. I mean, you got to throw your kid against the world at some point in time. It's just not something to look forward to, I don't think. Oh, let's see. I made some notes about some other shit I wanted to talk about. Let's see what I got. See if any of it's important at all. Democrats debate who can beat Trump. I bought an IntelliMouse. I bought a Microsoft IntelliMouse. I bought a new mouse because I hate Logitech products, and I've had a Logitech G500 for 10 years. And maybe 9 years. I had an IntelliMouse before that, an IntelliMouse Explorer 2.0 or 3.0, I can't remember now. And I used that thing until it wore out. And I've used this Logitech until it wore out. I mean, 10 years is a damn good lifespan. But I bought it's an IntelliMouse Pro is what this one is. And it's okay. It's fine. It's not as great as I hoped it would be. I've got big hands. I like a giant mouse. Like with big curves and anyway, so yeah, it's okay. The IntelliMouse Pro, I'd give it a...
There's a titty joke somewhere in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish they'd make a giant, like, double D tit mouse or something like that. Complete with a nipple or something. Or at least like a bra that you can kind of pull back. That'd be... And it's squishy. We probably just got canceled for that. Breaking news. The poor bastards are misogynistic because they love tits.
Shit, Lord.
The Valve Index, yeah, so it leaked that they were going to get in on Monday. They got in on Monday. They sold out immediately. They're on a 8-month wait list. That might be correct. Store, search, index, Valve Index VR kit. 8 weeks, not 8 months. New orders ship after 8 weeks. And they're going to be first come, first serve. So I don't have a whole lot of faith in that. And then the last point, if you feel like diving into this, we can quit if you want. But Reddit's treatment of the Donald has been appalling. Just appalling of how they've treated that community of people.
I just like to go on record as saying that it has been a gay op from the start. No, they've fiddled with the numbers, the upvotes, the number of subscribers. They've monkeyed with all of it. Spez admitted editing comments. It's just been one thing after another. Our all was nothing but Donald posts. They, a 1 was changed to a 0 while they were fiddling with the algorithm. They made the entire front page nothing but the Donald posts. Boy, when folks figured that out, Pepe had a heyday on the front page. Oh my gosh, he ran around with his willy out. It was hilarious. It was fucking great. And through all that, and oh man, that pissed him off. That pissed Reddit off so bad. And it started, you'll remember, it started with the fat people hate subreddit. Ellen Powell and the fat people hate subreddit. And they were going to go after hate subreddits. Well, that just made its way around to being a political weapon. Eventually, that's what happened. But I'll tell you, it sucks. It's not surprising. They're trying to instill new mods. And as of yesterday, they said, the remaining mods are basically like, fuck you. None of your mods meet our standards. And our remaining friendly neighborhood mods are holding their own tryouts. So I don't know. I don't know what's really going on with that. But the Donald.win is where it's at right now. That's where Pepe and Keck live on.
I forgot Ellen Powell divorced her black husband.
I tell you what, she ended up stepping down, but it's been astroturfed. Maybe I didn't understand what astroturfing was, and I just had no clue. But God, when was it? It was like 2013 when we started digging around on Reddit, around in there.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know. It was just such a great place when we first started hanging around there. There was a subreddit for everything.
Aaron Schwartz died January 11th, 2013. So yeah, it was 2012, 2013 when we got into Reddit. Because he didn't last long after, God, that's so funny. Aaron Schwartz is the founder of Demand Progress, which launched the campaign against internet censorship bills, and now has over 1 million members. All right, that's Aaron Schwartz. That's a former Reddit founder.
This dude's turning over in his grave so much.
Ellen Powell. My bad. Go ahead.
Oh no! I was talking out of my ass, dude.
Ellen Powell is an American investor and activist who co-founded the diversity consulting nonprofit organization Project Include. Yeah, which of those people do you want on your fucking team? The guy trying to fight internet censorship, or the girl trying to make sure that there's equality of outcome in every single situation, or in situations that are beneficial to themselves, really? I listened to a Jordan Peterson talk on equality of outcomes. And if your goal is equality of outcome, the question was kind of like, when does the left go too far? Because, I mean, we do need social progress. That's obviously a thing. But when is it too much? And there's lots of statements out there that if, when equality of outcome is the goal, they stop at nothing to achieve equality of outcome. And that's when it goes too far. There's a recent bill trying to make 50% of police days in Canada women. And he's like, okay. He's like, when do we make 50% of bricklayers women? When do we make, 50% of roofers women? And what does it mean to even try and accomplish that? And it makes sense. I mean, how do you... I think he's trying to demonstrate the point that equality of outcome doesn't make any sense whatsoever. There's certainly not equality of input. You've got those Scandinavian countries that there's some of the most egalitarian laws in the world, some of the most egalitarian societies in the world. And I think the gender disparity between the natural gender disparity is even greater in Scandinavia than it is in somewhere like America or Europe.
Different life choices, man.
Yeah. I don't know. It's strange. It's interesting. I don't know. This is an interesting year. The Democrats have failed to come up with Barack Obama Jr. or Hillary Clinton Jr. And it's not a good year to be a proponent of diversity. You got two old white men and Tulsi Gabbard. You could still vote for Tulsi Gabbard. They're not doing it. It's either Biden or Sanders. So it honestly, it really makes you wonder who's making all these comments on the internet. If this is what the polls are actually saying. And maybe the polls are rigged. I mean, I think we know that they are, in some sense, that they have been. Maybe the polls have been rigged, or I don't know really how you would describe Clinton versus Sanders.
He's gonna get screwed, man. He's gonna get screwed. It's just amazing to see Bernie Sanders for president again. That subreddit. Oh my gosh. I remember last election, I would just go there and just read through these posts and what planet are they on? We all knew it was going to be Hillary Clinton. And then they were shocked. And then, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just the writing is on the wall again, dude, with all of these freaking endorsements. Even Andrew Yang endorsed Biden. By all rights, UBI Yang. Come on, what are you waiting on, Lizzie? Yang is way to the left of Lizzie.
Yeah. Yeah, the coronavirus. Everybody needs $1,000 for the coronavirus. That post reached the top of our politics.
You know, the deal with the coronavirus isn't that it's freaking deadly. It's that it's highly contagious. it's going to cook its way through the population, and that's going to affect productivity on various levels. Like there's, people, the population, the general population of people are going to need stuff like toilet paper and crap like that, you know? So, anyways, people are going to be getting sick here pretty soon, and it's not a bad idea to get ahead of that. But it's going to get here. I'm not happy with what I've seen as far as the state response, even as recently as a few days ago, and saying it was, the risk was low. Like, dude, the risk might be low today of it getting here today, but it is going to eventually get here. I mean, this look, this horse was out of the pasture long ago. I don't know, man. I don't know, dude. If you want my honest opinion, I think, well, it's all just a matter of how long it takes for this to burn through the population. I mean, it's going to come down to washing your freaking hands and, cleaning surfaces and stuff like that. And people that are sick don't need to be going out. It's going to come down to common sense crap like that. But how long? How long before the cases start to go down? Case numbers. Because, I mean, if it's highly contagious, a bunch of kids are getting it. What's the threshold that the school districts are looking at as far as, okay, when do we decide to call off school?
A lot of universities are closing. Harvard is one of them, but there's a bunch of schools that are closing for at least a week or so. I think a lot of them are in spring break this week, and then they're also closing next week. They're going. A lot of them are going to online classes. Some of them are curbing classes completely. It seems. That's just on the university level.
See, because the truth is, when this stuff was getting legs, everybody was wanting to talk about peaches. Peach mints, dude. Peach mints. And now everyone's talking about it. And the only reason they're talking about it is because, they act crazy enough. It'll tank the markets, and that hurts Trump. Because, right now it's the Trump economy. It's not the Obama economy anymore. It was before the markets tanked.
Yeah.
But not right now. You see, you got to remember things like this. This is the Trump economy. And so, but the flip side to that is, when the stock markets are up, like, so what does that mean for me? It doesn't put any money in my pocket. Well, got a 401k, am I? Have you ever went to our Wall Street Bets?
No.
Oh, you should. Oh, you should go up there. You should go just have a look at what those poor hapless bastards are up to. They invest some money, son. Some of them cats do it dumb, too. Somebody over there smoked it, though. Actually, the last time I looked in there a couple weeks ago, somebody was a millionaire.
Yeah, this is an interesting sub.
It's pretty daggum funny.
Apparently, NBA has suspended their season because a Utah Jazz player tested positive for the coronavirus. That's on Wall Street Bets. Suspended, not canceled. Yeah, people are flipping out over coronavirus. I mean, isn't it like bird flu 2.0, which was something else 2.0, which was, I mean, it's all Armageddon. Was bird flu the last bad one?
I don't really know, to be honest with you.
Bird flu was 2013. Oh, 96.
I tell you what, though, the thought that something like this could be weaponized is pretty scary.
Well, bird flu came out of China too. Human infections were first reported in 97 in Hong Kong. Since 03, more than 700 cases of Asian HPAI H5N1 have been reported to the World Health Organization, primarily from 15 countries in Asia, Africa, Pacific, Europe, Middle East. Yeah. In 2020, it made a comeback in China. What? Yeah.